If you're over 60, what you do in the first 15 minutes of your morning may be silently increasing your risk of stroke, and not just by a little. As a brain doctor, I've seen the tragic consequences of one overlooked habit repeated day after day: the wrong drink, or no drink at all. Most seniors believe strokes are caused only by genetics or high blood pressure. But science now shows that a single mistake in your morning routine can actually triple your stroke risk without you even knowing it. And the scariest part, it's not some rare behavior. It's what millions of Americans over 60 are doing every single day, believing they're making a healthy choice, when in reality, they're setting off a cascade of events in their blood vessels and brain that could lead to a life-changing emergency. In this video, I'll walk you through 6 common morning habits, some dangerous, some life-saving, that directly affect your arteries, your memory, and your heart. Especially number 5, the one mistake I've seen cause more damage than anything else. So if you want to protect your brain, your independence, and your future, grab a notepad, stay with me to the end, and let's get started right now. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Iced coffee with sugar and cream. A quick wake-up that becomes a vascular storm. It's a warm morning. You wake up feeling a bit sluggish, walk into your kitchen, and reach for your usual iced coffee. Maybe it's sweetened with vanilla syrup or topped with thick cream, just the way you like it. It feels comforting, even refreshing. But here's what most people over 60 don't realize. That cold, sweet sip may be setting the stage for a life-threatening stroke, and not in the distant future, but possibly within the next few hours. As a brain doctor, I've reviewed thousands of cases of sudden strokes in older adults, and far too many have one overlooked thing in common: high sugar, high caffeine morning drinks. One of my recent patients, a 68-year-old retired truck driver named Jim, came in after experiencing what he thought was just a dizzy spell. We ran a scan. What we found was a small clot forming in his brain's posterior circulation, the type that can lead to a devastating stroke within days. Jim's only risk factor? His daily morning ritual: a sweet iced coffee with flavored creamer. Here's the medical truth. The combination of refined sugar and caffeine early in the day causes your blood vessels to suddenly constrict, your blood pressure to spike, and your blood to become thicker and slower moving. For someone under 40, the body may compensate, but after 60, your arteries are less elastic, your circulation slower, and your heart works harder to maintain pressure. This one drink creates the perfect storm: thickened blood, narrowed vessels, and a tired heart, all of which increase the chance of a clot forming and getting lodged in your brain. The danger doesn't stop there. Most store-bought creamers contain hidden sodium, hydrogenated oils, and preservatives that further damage your arterial walls and raise your blood pressure without you even tasting the salt. It's like silently pouring sludge into your engine and wondering why it fails. Let me be clear. What feels like a harmless indulgence can end up costing you your mobility, your speech, or even your life. A stroke doesn't just happen one day. It's built sip by sip, habit by habit, until your body finally gives way. I ask my patients one simple question: is the 5-minute comfort of a sweet iced coffee worth risking the next 20 years of your life? If your goal is to stay independent, alert, and living on your own terms, this one habit must change. Start with a homemade cold brew, skip the sugar, and use a splash of almond or oat milk. It's not about losing joy. It's about staying alive to enjoy more mornings. But don't put your guard down yet, because what most seniors trust as healthy Those colorful bottles of orange and apple juice in your fridge may actually be a sugar bomb in disguise, quietly pushing your arteries closer to rupture. Let's talk about that next. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number one below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number two. 2. Bottled fruit juice. Vitamin on the label, sugar in disguise. It says 100% juice on the label. It's in your fridge next to the milk. You've poured it for breakfast for years, maybe even decades, believing you're doing something good for your body. After all, how could orange juice or apple juice full of vitamins be dangerous? But here's what most people over 60 don't know. Bottled fruit juice is often no better than soda when it comes to your blood vessels and brain. And for some, it's even worse. I remember a patient named Carol, a 72-year-old retired schoolteacher from Wisconsin. She came to me complaining of sudden forgetfulness and lightheadedness in the mornings. She had no family history of stroke, exercised regularly, and wasn't overweight. But she had one daily habit she proudly told me about. Every morning, she drank a large glass of orange juice for the vitamin C. When I looked at her blood glucose and blood pressure spikes within 30 minutes of waking, the pattern was obvious. That seemingly healthy juice was causing a massive sugar surge in her bloodstream on an empty stomach. Her arteries, already less elastic with age, were reacting by tightening. The sugar, stripped of fiber because juice removes the pulp, was rushing into her system unchecked, triggering inflammation and oxidative stress. Her blood was becoming thick, sticky, dangerously clot-prone. This is how strokes happen silently in seniors, not with pain, not with warning, but with years of repeated vascular stress. When your arteries stiffen and inflame, when your blood pressure jolts up like that every morning, your brain becomes more vulnerable. And in a single moment, a clot, a rupture, a blocked vessel, everything can change. The price? You lose your ability to speak, to walk, to remember your grandchildren's names. And the saddest part, it didn't have to happen. It was a glass of juice you thought was helping you. Juice without fiber is like setting fire to your circulation and calling it nutrition. Even juices labeled no added sugar are still concentrated with natural sugars that flood the system unnaturally fast. Unlike whole fruit, which the body digests slowly thanks to its fiber, bottled juice hits like a sugar tsunami. What I told Carol, I now tell all my patients. If you wouldn't eat 5 whole oranges in one sitting, why are you drinking the sugar from them in one gulp? Instead, eat the fruit whole or blend it with water and fiber-rich seeds like chia. Your brain doesn't need a sugar spike. It needs steady, reliable circulation to stay sharp and safe. But the trap doesn't end with juice. Next comes something far more deceptive, because it promises zero sugar but may be even more dangerous. Let me show you why diet soda might be tricking your brain and slowly sabotaging your heart. 3. Diet sodas. Sugar-free, but still fooling your brain. At first glance, diet soda seems like a smart choice. No sugar, no calories, and just enough fizz to satisfy your cravings. For many seniors trying to cut back on sugar or manage diabetes, it feels like a guilt-free indulgence. But the truth is far more unsettling. Behind every bubbly sip of zero soda is a hidden neurological and cardiovascular risk that doctors are only now beginning to fully understand. I treated a patient named Martha, age 75, who had been drinking Diet Cola daily for over a decade. She wasn't overweight, had no history of smoking, and took her medications on time. But she started noticing subtle issues: irregular heartbeats, fatigue, and occasional moments where her memory just disappeared. When we reviewed her lifestyle, the diet sodas seemed like the least concerning habit. But as I dug deeper, I realized they were the most dangerous. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose are marketed as safer alternatives, but when consumed regularly, especially on an empty stomach in the morning, they confuse your body's metabolism. Your brain tastes something sweet and prepares for sugar, but none arrives. This leads to an increase in insulin levels, shifts in dopamine response, and more intense cravings later in the day. But more importantly for seniors, these chemicals have been linked to blood vessel damage, increased clotting risk, and even atrial fibrillation, a known trigger for stroke. In Martha's case, her blood pressure was fluctuating wildly throughout the day, especially after her first soda in the morning. Her hydration was poor because diet sodas don't nourish the body. They dehydrate it. The caffeine content worsens this, leaving her blood thicker and more prone to clot. Over time, this created the perfect internal storm: unstable blood vessels, a tired heart, and decreased oxygen delivery to her brain. It nearly cost her everything. One morning, she suffered a transient ischemic attack, TIA, a warning stroke. She lost the ability to speak for 2 terrifying minutes. She survived, but not everyone is that lucky. The next time, it could be permanent paralysis or worse. What makes diet soda especially dangerous for older adults is that it doesn't feel dangerous. It's sneaky. It comes in bright cans with health claims, it's served at every restaurant, and no one warns you that it may be slowly altering your brain chemistry and weakening your heart. I always tell my patients, if a product needs chemicals to taste sweet without sugar, ask yourself what it's doing to your brain's wiring. If you crave something fizzy, opt for sparkling water with lemon or a splash of natural juice in soda water. Your arteries will thank you, and your brain will function more clearly without artificial interference. But the danger doesn't stop there. Some drinks don't pretend to be healthy. They're loud, flashy, and full of promises about energy and performance. And for aging hearts, energy drinks and sports drinks are a ticking time bomb you cannot afford to ignore. Let me show you why these performance drinks are secretly breaking down the very heart you depend on to stay alive. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Energy drinks and sports drinks, not made for an aging heart. They sit on grocery shelves in bright, bold cans promising focus, hydration, or power. Maybe your grandkids drink them. Maybe you've even been tempted yourself on a sluggish morning or a hot day to crack one open and feel revived. But if you're over 60, I urge you to think twice, because what's inside those flashy bottles can be more than just a rush of caffeine. It can be a ticking time bomb for your heart and brain. I'll never forget a patient named Robert. He was 67, a retired firefighter from Arizona, and proud of still doing yard work every day. But one summer morning, trying to beat the heat, he grabbed a chilled energy drink before heading outside. 30 minutes later, his heart was racing, his vision blurred. He collapsed while mowing his lawn. When I met him in the hospital, Robert was lucky. It wasn't a full stroke, but it was what we call pre-ischemic cardiac stress, meaning his heart and brain had been dangerously deprived of oxygen and blood flow. And the culprit? That one can of energy drink. Let's talk facts. Energy drinks are loaded with high levels of caffeine, sugar, and stimulants like taurine or guarana. These aren't gentle compounds, they're accelerators, forcing your heart to beat faster than it safely can at your age. For older adults whose arteries are stiffer, whose hearts have already endured decades of wear, this sudden surge can be catastrophic. Even sports drinks marketed for hydration often contain hidden sodium, preservatives, and artificial colors that disrupt your body's electrolyte balance and increase water loss rather than prevent it. They were designed for young, athletic bodies in extreme exertion, not for senior citizens trying to protect their vascular health. What makes this even more dangerous is that older adults often misinterpret early warning signs: a flutter in the chest, a bit of dizziness, dry mouth. These symptoms often get brushed off as normal aging or dehydration. But inside, your heart may be skipping beats, your blood may be thickening, and your brain could be slowly starving for oxygen. The cost? A sudden stroke, a heart attack, a fall that leads to a broken hip or worse. And all of it triggered by one drink that promised to make you feel better. I always tell my patients, you don't need to feel like you're 25 again. You just need to wake up tomorrow with all your faculties intact. If you want a healthy, natural way to energize, try warm lemon water with a pinch of pink Himalayan salt. It gently supports your electrolyte balance without overloading your system or tricking your heart into overworking. And now, we've come to what may be the most dangerous mistake of all, one so common, so overlooked, and so subtle that millions of older Americans do it every single morning without realizing they're putting their lives at risk. Let me show you why skipping a single glass of water after waking up might be the deadliest habit you never noticed. 5. Skipping water in the morning, the most dangerous mistake of all. Every morning, millions of older adults rise from bed and start their day without a second thought, maybe reaching for coffee, juice, or simply going about their morning routine without drinking anything at all. But what if I told you that this one silent habit, skipping a glass of water after waking up, could triple your risk of stroke? As a brain doctor, I've seen firsthand the devastating effects of dehydration on the aging brain. I remember a patient named Thomas, a 74-year-old former Navy officer. He had always prided himself on being tough, saying, "I've gone my whole life without needing much water." One morning, after a night of poor sleep, he skipped his usual breakfast and went straight into his garden to trim hedges. Within an hour, he collapsed. By the time he arrived at the ER, the left side of his body was paralyzed. He had suffered a full ischemic stroke. What caused it? Not a genetic condition, not even high cholesterol. It was chronic morning dehydration. Here's what most people don't realize. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, your body is in a mild state of dehydration. Your blood is thicker. Your heart is working harder to push it through aging, stiffened arteries. Your brain, already sensitive in older age, is desperate for oxygen and hydration. Without water, your body becomes a perfect storm. Clot formation, reduced circulation, and low cerebral oxygen all converge to create a prime opportunity for a stroke. Seniors are especially vulnerable. As we age, our sense of thirst naturally declines. So by the time you feel thirsty, your body has already been dehydrated for hours. And if you delay that first glass of water in favor of coffee, juice, or skipping liquids entirely, you're asking your heart and brain to work overtime on empty. The result? You could lose your independence in a heartbeat. You could forget your own name. You could find yourself in a rehab center relearning how to walk, talk, and swallow, all because of one simple glass of water you didn't drink. I tell every patient over 60 this. Before you drink anything else, before you check your phone or take your meds, drink one full glass of plain room temperature water. No ice, no lemon, just water. That small act can loosen your blood vessels, stimulate healthy circulation, flush toxins from your organs, and give your brain the hydration it needs to function at its best. It may seem too simple to matter, but in my experience, this is the single most life-saving habit a senior can adopt. But knowledge is only powerful if it leads to action. So, what exactly should you do tomorrow morning, step by step, to protect your brain, your heart, and your future? Let me walk you through the one simple morning routine that could help you live longer and sharper. 6. What you should do tomorrow morning. One simple routine that can save your life. If you've ever wondered whether one small change could truly protect your brain, heart, and independence, this is it. What you do in the first 15 minutes after waking up can either set you on a path of strength and clarity or silently accelerate the risks of stroke, heart failure, and cognitive decline. And the good news? It's not complicated, it's not expensive, but it does require intention. I once treated a patient named Linda, age 79, a retired librarian from Ohio. She had always been sharp, organized, and methodical, but she came to my office after experiencing several blank moments in the morning, times when she couldn't remember why she walked into a room or where she left her keys. Her scans showed early signs of reduced cerebral blood flow. Her brain wasn't getting the oxygen it needed, but she didn't have diabetes. Her blood pressure wasn't alarmingly high. So what was happening? We reviewed her morning routine. No breakfast, no water. She'd wake up, scroll the news on her tablet, and sip a bit of coffee 2 hours later. That was it, for years. And over time, this lack of structured hydration and circulation had quietly deprived her brain of the support it needed. Here's what I told her, and what I now tell every patient over 60. Your brain isn't failing you, it's just running dry. So, what should you do starting tomorrow morning? Step 1. Drink one full glass, 8 to 12 OZ, of room temperature water before anything else. This rehydrates your body, thins your blood, improves circulation, and wakes up your brain. No ice, no caffeine, no delay. Step 2. Move gently, stretch your arms, march in place. Even just 3 to 5 minutes of light movement activates your circulation and tells your nervous system, we're alive and we're safe. Step 3. Eat something small and balanced. A few bites of oatmeal, half a banana with peanut butter, or Greek yogurt. Why? Because an aging brain needs a steady source of energy to function, not sugar crashes or empty stomachs. Step 4. Avoid sugary drinks, juices, and sodas first thing in the day. You've already read why. This is the moment to protect your vessels, not punish them. Step 5. Pause. Breathe. Be intentional. Don't start your day with stress. High cortisol levels can raise blood pressure, constrict blood flow, and leave your heart vulnerable. For Linda, making these changes took just 10 minutes each morning. Within a month, her memory stabilized, her balance improved, her blood pressure readings were more consistent. She felt more in control, not just of her day, but of her life again. Because here's the truth. The biggest difference between aging and deteriorating is what you do with your first few waking moments. But before we close, I want to leave you with one final vital truth, one that ties everything together. What if I told you that nearly every stroke I've treated in someone over 60 could have been prevented, not with medication, but with the right habits at the right time? Stay with me. What I'm about to share could save your life, or the life of someone you love. Your next morning could save or steal your life. In all my years as a brain doctor, the most heartbreaking moments haven't come from the diagnosis of disease, but from the realization that it could have been prevented. I've held hands with patients who could no longer speak because a clot silenced their brain. I've seen strong, independent men and women like you reduced to wheelchairs, feeding tubes, or hospital beds simply because of one small daily choice made in the quiet hours of morning. not because they didn't care about their health, but because no one ever told them the truth about how much those first moments of the day matter. What you drink or don't drink in the morning sets off a chain reaction in your body. It affects your blood's thickness, your heart's workload, your brain's ability to function, and your body's ability to heal. After 60, these reactions aren't just background noise, they're life or death signals. The margin for error becomes smaller, the cost of habit becomes greater. But here's the beautiful, powerful truth: you still have control. No matter your past choices, no matter how long you've been drinking sweetened iced coffee, bottled juices, diet sodas, or skipping water, you can start again. Tomorrow morning is a second chance. It's not about perfection, it's about wisdom. And wisdom is what every year of your life has given you. Now is the time to use it. Just one glass of water first thing. Just one decision to step away from the sugary drinks and toward hydration and circulation. Just one moment to pause and ask, what does my brain need today to stay strong? I'm not asking you to change your life overnight. I'm asking you to protect the life you still have, to treasure every step, every word, every memory, because those are the things a stroke can steal in an instant, but it doesn't have to happen. You've read the risks, you've met the patients, you've seen the science. The next step is yours. So when tomorrow morning comes, and it will, let it be the morning you choose differently. Because the greatest gift you can give your future is the wisdom to act now. Stay safe, stay alert, and stay alive, one smart morning at a time. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.